All right, we move on now to the Xfinity Series race, and Brandon, of course, can't help but think on a day like this of a race that is near and dear to my childhood, the 2007 AT&T 250 in Milwaukee. Aric Almirola put that Joe Gibbs number 20 car on pole. Denny Hamlin was trying to get to Milwaukee from Sonoma. The cars were blocking the helicopter pad. He couldn't land at the track. Aric had to get in the car and start the race, and did a darn good job doing so, leading the first 43 laps, running in third at the time of a caution. And then Gibbs made one of the most controversial decisions in the history of the series, pulling him from the car to put their Cup regular in it. Fortunately for Gibbs, Denny Hamlin got his lap back, came through and won the race, and gave Aric Almirola his first win in the Gibbs number 20 car. And here, 17 years later, Aric's earned his second career win in that car, but the first that he's actually been able to cross the finish line himself for and enjoy in victory lane, having not left the track early in disgust. So when you think of full circle moments, Brandon, the only one that I can think of off the top of my head, and again, I wish that he had done it a little bit more cleanly than he did, but Austin Dillon winning the Daytona 500 20 years after Dale Earnhart's 20 years of trying, like that.
You have to bring that up with Aric Almirola in view.
Well, it's Aric was involved in it. It's a nice even number. I mean, again, I don't love how he did it. I wish it had been more clean, but that's the kind of moment I'm talking about here. That's the best example I can come up with.
Yeah.
But you have something like this here.
A little forced, but yeah.
Yeah. Is this one of the biggest full circle moments for you in this sport in recent history? What Aric was able to do coming back to Gibbs and earning this win?
I mean, I guess so, but I mean, really, you are the one that reminds me of this Milwaukee story a lot more than any other person I've ever met, which is no problem at all. I think it's fascinating, actually.
I only got 150,000 views on my YouTube channel, so
yeah, I mean, I understand why it would be important. Yeah, I mean that's a really cool full circle thing though for Aric Almirola and for Joe Gibbs Racing in their Busch Nationwide Xfinity program throughout the years. And I love that for Aric Almirola. I try to stay as neutral as I can since 2018 or 19 or so when I started, cutting all ties with saying I'm this fan, trying to cut all that off. But Aric does hold a place in my heart for various reasons, and seeing him be able to still win after having his Cup days, full-time Cup days be over is pretty sweet. And to do it in a dominating fashion at Martinsville, tough track, but still have one of the best equipment in the series and be able to show his talent and get it done. That's really cool, especially after 20 years, 17 years with the 20 car from Milwaukee, and just being pushed out of it into no fault of his own. It's just, okay, now we want our real guy in the car. Get out, get back in the car. And it kind of also reminds me of the different things they had with like Martin Truex Jr. and Dale Jr. both in the 8 car at New Hampshire, that kind of thing. We don't see many driver changes in the top 3 national series, and that was just some odd times, and that's a big example of it. But yeah, pretty full circle for Aric Almirola.
Yeah, but to your point as well, I think that was a situation where Junior was coming off of a minor injury and started the race, but
from Sonoma, I believe.
Yeah. The burns from that crash there, and I mean that was a situation where it made sense. Main driver starts the race, and then a relief driver comes in and finishes it.
Right.
This was just, I don't know if it was, again, go back and forth between sponsorship obligations or, the Cup guys here, and he maybe gives us a better shot even if we disadvantage him. I mean, but again, that to me, I think is an even greater insult if that's the position that they took. And again, I think it was probably a combination of both. But, regardless, that was in the past. Aric finally got his full circle moment, and I think that's fantastic for him.
Yeah, I was just thinking of different times that NASCAR has allowed active driver changes during a race,
Sure.
and, it not be, banned or anything. It's just kind of rare that's happened. But yeah, that's pretty cool for Aric Almirola.
Yeah, and I mean it's not unprecedented. Again, I think Kyle Busch, had the flu one race, and I think David Gilliland ended up driving the 18 in a relief role. Forget exactly which race that was, probably 08, 09, but
yeah, it's pretty standard for when a driver is sick on race day. They have the other guy on standby to jump in if needed.
Yeah, but I mean this was something that, again, with all the limitations, if drivers are taking advantage of their 5 starts, they're doing it at weekends where the Xfinity Series is at the same place as the Cup Series. The days of the guys jumping from Xfinity or even races at Sonoma now, but that would be AJ Allmendinger has done it a couple times with Colleague. That's really the only time that you see guys hopping on the helicopter flight or the jet from one part of the country
Portland
to
another.
Those days are certainly long gone in that regard. But yeah, I mean, couldn't be happier for Aric Almirola to get this win. And again, we were out at Sonoma last year with Brock Beard and NASCAR.info, and saw him get the win there in the admittedly heavily Stuart Haas prepared RSS racing car. Take nothing away from that organization, though. Great feel good story there as well. And now to follow it up, getting this part-time deal with Gibbs and kind of getting to pick and choose his schedule so that he can spend more time with his family, but also still continue to race. And this seems like he's certainly enjoying it a lot more. I would certainly be enjoying his schedule a lot more than I would be, on the Cup Series grind, running 20th every week with SHR equipment that isn't what it used to be. So great result for him. And hopefully, it continues with however many starts he's got left this year.
Also, all the victory lane pictures with his kids had to be the icing on the cake for sure.
Absolutely.
To be able to celebrate that on Saturday with his family.
No doubt.